going to ask Johan to join us and also ask his powerhouse team to join us. They are industry legends and best minds that we could find just to share some knowledge from industry. I'm going to ask Loveness Kuveya, Rental Portfolio Manager of Easy Properties, to join us. Also, Everitt, CEO of Just Everitt International. I'm going to ask Nicole Marshall to join us, Group Financial Director of the Pam Golding Group. Thato, Ramaili, you also welcome and thank you very much for joining us today. I know you've got a very, very busy schedule, like all of us. Marlon Shevelew, thank you for joining, Director Marlon Shevelew and Associates. And also, lastly, but not important, Megan Ladbrook, from Director at Only Realty Group. Johan, over to you. Thank you very much.
Good. All right. This is not the graveyard shift. This is this shift. It's called Engage because we love engaging with stakeholders, the industry. And Donnie shared the heart of WeconnectU, which is really helping to create the future for property management and the emphasis on help. It is people like yourself, industry leaders, that help us to kind of shape a future that we believe where there's a thriving business, a healthy market, and yeah, people employed and customers feeling that they're getting value for what they're paying for. So I've got a jam-packed question here for you. I'm going to start with Thato. I need to be controversial. We need to start with the regulatory environment. So Thato, thank you for joining us. You have a very busy schedule the last couple of days, and thank you for squeezing us in. I'm going to be straight to the point. You have a really incredible vision for the PPRA in 2025. The PPRA, unfortunately, today doesn't have the perception that I believe you're striving to achieve for the PPRA. So the three key points of your vision for 2025 is more professionalism within the PPRA, which is, I think, everybody in the audience will say we fully support that. Secondly, a more diverse industry. I'm going to come back to this point. And then encouraging innovation. And as a technology partner, I want to say that we fully endorse that. And I know that you have a newly appointed CIO to help you to beef up the tech ability of the PPRA. So we fully support that as well. We're excited about that. But the more diverse industry, I think, again, we fully support that. But last year, something challenging happened. The PPRA issued a directive saying that no property practitioner will get the FFC if they don't have a valid BEE certificate. And that potentially almost put close to 6,000 property practitioners out of a job. And the whole idea about transformation, I believe, is to create more jobs. So subsequently, Sakeliga started a court case against the PPRA, but I think there's more bodies involved. We want to know, where do we stand with this? What is your view on this? And what do you foresee the outcome being on this? Because as an industry, we're obviously very concerned about it.
What a way to start, Johan, but good afternoon to everyone on this forum. And thank you for the WeConnectU family for having me here today. Well, Johan, firstly, the issue, I always say that, law is open for interpretation, right? And I think that earlier last year, the issue around the BEE validity was really aired out between us and the industry. And I think that there was a meeting of the minds, right? But so now bringing it home to what you just now alluded to, the Sakeliga matter, it is sub judice. So I can't talk much about it, but what I will say is this. There are obviously other people that have been cited in the summons, being the Minister of DTIC and the Minister of Department of Human Settlements. But for me, and I'll be sincere, I think this will, it's an opportunity to promote a constructive dialogue and collaboration around, transformation. So that's as much as I will say as far as the Sakeliga matter is concerned. And then secondly, Johan, I don't think there is such a concept as perfect legislation, right? So every time we're talking about a policy or we're talking about legislation, there'll always be loopholes. So perhaps another issue is that we can look at this as, an opportunity to strengthen the legal clarity and framework around what Sakeliga has brought, to play. So, and thirdly, again, being a regulator, our main driver is that we are supposed to drive, regulatory improvements. And perhaps this declaratory order that is being sought by Sakeliga can, we can be able to shed light on it. But where I sit as the regulator, Johan, our main focus really, I think, especially where we are as a country, should be around what is it that we're doing as a sector to drive economic participation and inclusivity of all property practitioners in the country, irrespective of race. So I think, let me end on that, on as far as the Sakeliga matter and BEE is concerned. But I wanted to reiterate that we did seek a legal opinion last year, and we are registering property practitioners in all subsectors who have a valid BEE certificate. So not compliant, as that was the contention last year. So we are registering practitioners throughout the country. Thank you.
Thato, thank you for being willing to answer that question, and thank you for just the way you've done that. I appreciate it. I'm going to just want to quote 2 words you said, which I really like, is constructive engagement with the stakeholders. It's opportunity. And I think if we have that approach, something good can come out of this. And there should be clarity for the whole market if there's constructive collaboration with all key stakeholders about achieving the right objective, which is economic enablement. So yeah, looking forward to how this will play out. And again, thank you for being willing to answer a very difficult question today so directly. I'm going to move on. So yeah, Thato, thank you very much. I'm going to move on to our next panelist, Megan Ladbrook. Megan, I call her DOE, Director of Everything for the Only Realty Group, because there's not a lot of things she doesn't have a hand on. Now, Megan, if we ask the question to our market today, what is the one thing you want to achieve in 2025? I can almost promise you the number one thing will not be compliance, but it will be growth. They want to grow. So you are part of a trio of 3 directors that spearheaded exceptional growth over the past year. We've been sitting on the side as a partner and looking at exceptional growth you've had in your portfolio as a business. And yeah, maybe you can give the audience today some of the key challenges and key important elements how to design and actually execute a growth strategy like yourselves.
Thanks, Johan. I think I'm going to really adopt the director of everything, but I might add director of everything and nothing at the same time. It's really exciting to be here. It's been such an interesting morning, and it helps us learn a lot, I think. So thank you guys for putting this on. Growth has been, it's been a big driving force in my life, professionally and personally, for at least the last 3 years. So I think, not to be your unofficial salesperson, but one of the things that was fundamental for us before we decided to embark on this really ambitious and maybe a little bit crazy path that we've been on, at least for the last 3 years, was to have the right systems in place and the right processes. So quite fortunate to have been almost fully digital before COVID. And then WeconnectU came into our lives, and we made the transition mid-COVID. So first lockdown, you guys were sort of taking on all of our portfolios, and it was a challenge, but it changed our lives. So I think growth isn't possible unless you have sound systems in place. And the AI is exciting for us. All of those little things that you add throughout the year that aren't sort of splashy changes really make a big impact on our team. So I think processes and systems, as boring as it sounds, and it's not the thing that is exciting when you talk about growth, they're the most important things to have in place. I think the second thing that sort of builds on top of the systems, you can have all the systems in the world, but if you don't have the right people in your team to actually understand what it is you're trying to achieve and to really partner with you in the business. So, you know, I think for us as only Realty, we really see our teams as collaborators. You know, it's not a sort of top-down company. We work maybe a little bit too hands-on with all of our teams sometimes, but we really treat our teams as the most important part of the business. And we see our own agents and our own employees as our clients as a business, and then they in turn see our clients as their clients. So empowering our teams, I think, has been probably the most critical thing in finding the right people. So I think in our industry, professionalizing it is extremely important. Finding quality people and bringing them into your business is not always the easiest, but I think all the people on this panel at least have really made inroads into just bringing the name of our industry to something that's proud for somebody to say that they work in property. So people, systems, and then something that personally I struggle with a lot is there's a little bit of a lack of fear. So out of the three of us, you mentioned there's three of us, I'm probably the most fearful and anxious out of the three. The other two like just running with things. But it's healthy to have a good fear and a good respect for what you're doing, and realize that when you're taking on, we've acquired a lot of businesses quite quickly, and there's a huge responsibility that comes with that. So I think from that, solid partnerships with your own team, good systems, and a healthy fear and respect for what you're doing are probably the three key things that have helped us grow so rapidly.
Megan, thank you for that. I'm going to just ask you another question, is what
Sure.
has been the biggest challenge? Because I know growth is not always easy.
It's really exciting, and it's amazing to see what we've built and what we've done, and I'm super proud of us as a team. But it's not an easy journey. So I think living up to the expectations of the people that are in your business and what they expect from you as leaders, and the vision that you have to have, and always looking for the next opportunity to grow your business is a challenge. But then the fundamental day-to-day parts of actually incorporating a new business or a new rental book, or if you're taking on an investor with a huge portfolio, any of those things, those day-to-day, making everything run smoothly, that's probably the most challenging. But again, I think having a system like WeconnectU and you guys as partners, I mean, you've been phenomenal partners in our business. I don't think we could have tackled what we had to tackle if you guys weren't backing us up and supporting us. So I think that's the biggest challenge, just the mechanics and the nitty-gritty, and incorporating different business cultures into your own. But I think we're getting there. We're not perfect, but yeah, you know, we're getting there, and I'm really excited about what 2025 has to bring for all of us. I think property is an amazing industry to be in, and yeah, we're really excited for the next coming year.
Great, thank you for sharing those honest insights, and again, well done on the growth, and we look forward to continue to see you grow.
Thank you.
Marlon, you are now not new to our panelists, and have been sharing some legal insights over the last couple of years with our audience. There is the act, and then there's the reality of what happens in courts. Can you give the audience some pointers that you would empower them with, that what they should be careful for, look out for, or have in place to make sure them as a business and their clients, primarily obviously the investors or homeowners or trustees, are protected in 2025?
Thanks, Johan. And firstly, thank you to the rest of your team for bringing us on board and giving me a chance to have my 5 minutes. I hope it's enough. So in essence, you know, I've been practicing as an attorney for 24 years, and I continually learn, and the trends that are taking place with changes in legislation. And I think what's so important to remember is that the way that property owners, that rental property practitioners can gear themselves and equip themselves is to be mindful that law is continually changing. The interpretations of the Consumer Protection Act, the interpretations of the Rental Housing Act, it all changes. We are in court every day, and each time we're learning that there is nothing that is, I suppose, written in stone. And I think that the way that property practitioners, especially in the rental arena, and property owners can apprise themselves of what's happening is to firstly, get an attorney on board who knows what they're doing with rental property law. It's a completely separate area to conveyancing. Secondly, the very documentation that you use as the foundation of your practice, be it the inspection form, the lease agreement, the mandate, these are all documents which you can't just try and box into a property. You've got to adapt them per landlord, per tenant, per property, per rental property practitioner. Are you procuring? Are you procuring and managing, or are you just managing? And how are you structuring your commission? And I think there are so many anomalies that arise in our practice that we have on a daily basis, and a couple of instances such as a lease agreement which doesn't cater for all the necessary clauses, a lease agreement that doesn't comply with the particular sections of the Consumer Protection Act, rental agencies who act incorrectly, although admittedly with good intention, in breaching the mandate with their landlord, or a landlord breaching the lease agreement with their tenant. So updated lease agreements are absolutely imperative, and have an attorney on board who is up to date with the latest legislation, from the PPRA right through to even the Criminal Procedure Act, for goodness sake. I mean, there are criminal elements attaching to the Rental Housing Act, which many property practitioners aren't even aware of. And then I often see the lease agreements containing clauses about what is expected of their rental property practitioner, but there is no awareness to the fact that if that rental property practitioner is not signing the lease agreement and accepting the benefits of that lease agreement, their entitlement to a commission, their entitlement to any of the benefits that may accrue to them in a mandate, if it's not in a mandate, but it's in a lease agreement and it's not signed by the rental property practitioner, they're not going to get their commission. A very big thing that we see as well, not to go off topic, is we do a lot of evictions. Unfortunately, that's what's happening with our economy and people losing their jobs. We find that a lot of rental property practitioners who come to us and say, Marlon, the landlord wants to evict their tenant. And I'm saying, well, where's your authority? If the lease has ended, your mandate has effectively ended. Does your mandate allow you to provide instructions to an attorney to carry out the eviction process? Because you can't instruct me unless you've got the authority of your landlord. And what authority do you have if your mandate has ended? Another simple thing is inspections. Everyone talks about the incoming inspection and outgoing inspection, but structure inspections to look after your asset, to look after the property that's being managed by having interim inspections, obviously on appropriate notice, so you can suss out the property long before you get to a 3-day before end of lease outgoing inspection, so you can mitigate potential exposure of your asset that is an appreciating asset just by having structures in place. And so important is, and I know it goes back to the role of the attorney, if there's rental owing, demand it correctly. That's why WeConnectU offers that system. If the lease is going to be cancelled, do you have the mandate to cancel that lease? Because once you cancel that lease, you effectively cancel your mandate. Your mandate is linked invariably to the life of the lease. And on top of it, if you're going to be doing an eviction or you're going to be doing rent collection, there are amazing products out there that cover rental income that's being lost and eviction costs. Those are things that are covered by a rental insurance policy, and I'm proud to endorse a particular rental insurance policy called 10 Risk. I know there are others out there. I'm not trying to monopolize it, but I know full well that it's always about what is it going to cost to retain a managing agent? What's it going to cost to retain an attorney to sue? What's it going to cost to retain an attorney to carry out an eviction process, knowing all the while between cancellation and actual eviction, which can be months, there is no mitigation of loss, no ability for that rental property manager, that rental property practitioner, that landlord to actually protect the very asset that is actually paying for all of them, rental to the landlord, commission to the agency. So I think there is so much that rental property practitioners and landlords can do to ensure that 2025 is the year not only of growth, as Megan mentioned, and as our PPRA practitioner mentioned as well, that it's about inclusivity, but making sure that everyone who's included in this industry is alive as to change, as to fluctuation, and how they can take the best steps to mitigate against that exposure to protect the asset that effectively protects everyone involved. So, yeah, that's my 5 minutes.
Marlon, thank you. I think it seems like a minefield that property managers have to face daily. And I think, first of all, I like what you said. You know, you can't have kind of one standard mandate and think every single property will just fit into that. I really like that. And I really like the idea, or maybe just a reminder, that because of this, let's call it legal minefield, is make sure that you've got a good attorney specializing in the area, partnering with your firm, enabling you to protect yourself and obviously your investors as well. So thank you for that. I know if I leave you, you can speak for an hour, but thank you for pushing it into 5 minutes. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Next up, Nicole Marshall, Group CEO of Group FD of PAM Golding. Nicole, thank you for joining us. PAM Golding manages a really large portfolio on both rentals and obviously in the community management side. You know, Megan told us some key ingredients, how to grow. You guys are really big. Talk to us about what are the key things that you as the FD or as the leader in the team kind of have to focus on to make sure such a big operation and such a big brand, their value gets communicated and managed well on a daily basis.
Thank you very much, Johan, and to the team. It's been a very informative morning. Interestingly, I'm going to mirror a lot of, I think, what Megan said earlier in her discussion. So from our point of view, one of our most important success factors in our business is definitely our people. It's hugely important, especially on the rental side, to have really strong administration teams who are there to support the agents. I think we all know that agents are maybe not good administrators. They are more the sales side of things. So having these administrators that ensure that the lease agreements are processed effectively, efficiently, and accurate is really, really important. They also need to understand the seriousness of working with trust money. That with that legislation, it does give us an extra amount of responsibility. And the agents need to know that they've got confidence in those branch administrators, knowing that their clients are getting the service that they expect from us and from a brand like PAM Golding. Another important factor, I think, in our world is obviously compliance. It is really crucial that the admin team and the agents understand the significance of compliance. In our business, compliance is just not negotiable. And I suppose often the tenants and the landlords don't really understand the importance of FICA and do make it extremely difficult to obtain the necessary documentation. So it is really important that there is a drive to make sure you get the FICA information right up at the front, and also to be able to explain to both tenants and landlords why the FICA is so important, because I think, as I said, often they don't understand the importance of it. Thirdly, I think it's incredibly important, and especially due to the size of our book, as you mentioned, is to have strict procedures and policies in place, both to streamline the process, but also to make sure that nothing gets missed in processing a lease. As we know, leases are often quite different, and it is really important that everything that's in the lease is processed correctly. I think this is where WeConnectU is incredibly helpful. In our business, we have set up the WeConnectU system so that one person will capture the lease, and then it is reviewed and approved by another person before it can be finalized in the system. And that's been a huge win for us, knowing that it is reviewed before anything is processed. Obviously, it's a bank integrated system, so it's even more important. And it obviously prevents errors, but it also reduces that really time-consuming task of correcting errors. It is just so much simpler and easier to get it done correct the first time. Then I suppose, as I mentioned, our team of administrators, they don't only process and work on active leases. They also ensure that those finalized and closed off lease, ensure that we finalize and close off those expired leases. There are a number of cases where you hold all or part of a deposit because there's a dispute, or we've got holding part of the deposit to pay for repairs. And it is just really important to stay on top of all those amounts. They're often rather small amounts, but it can add up extremely quickly. And obviously, when on a book our size, it really is important to make sure we stay on top of that. And again, the agents that's not a focus in their world because they've received their commission already, and therefore it's the administrators who need to follow up on that side of things. I think the size of our portfolio, also one of the really important things is the permissions, which again is something that WeConnectU has helped us, and the system is set up so that each different user has different abilities within the system, and also can only have access to the relevant portfolios and the relevant information to them. I think this functionality is hugely important, and it allows our managers from each area to log on. They're only presented with the information and the leases that are relevant and relate to their specific areas and their agents. We moved to WeConnectU not that long ago, and it really has been a game changer for us. It has offered incredible ease of use for our agents, our administrators, and our managers. It really provides the managers with an amazing dashboard that gives them a really good overview, but also allows them then to drill down to the information and as much as they need, so that they can fulfill their roles. I think it's amazing that the agents have access to all their client information and their lease information, obviously on their laptops, but also from their mobile phones, which makes it really easy for them to answer questions when they do get questions from landlords and tenants. And then importantly, from my point of view, it delivers a really detailed reporting system, which gives us a crucial overview of our full rental book. So I hope that answers the question. And just to summarize, I suppose our key success factors are around having strong, well-trained administrators who follow clear procedures and processes, and then obviously having a trusted and user-friendly system makes an enormous difference to our world.
Nicole, thank you for that. I'm going to, you and Megan took me back to when we were managing rental books. I once had a meeting with my team and said, ladies and gentlemen, we are not in property. We are in a service business. We just coincidentally delivering this in property. And then people is everything. So I think that is as a string we can pull through Megan and yourselves comments about if you want to grow and if you're big, people will always be the most important part of your business. So yeah, I think that's a key takeaway for everybody listening. All right, next up is Loveness. Loveness is the portfolio manager for the Easy Properties, obviously Easy Properties being part of the Easy Equities group. Loveness, you've chosen for today because you've got your fingers on the keyboard on a daily basis. You're in the trenches, you're doing the hard work, and for you, efficiencies are really important. I want to ask you, obviously as a company, we speak about ecosystem. It means different things for different people. Talk to us as business owner and obviously portfolio manager. Talk to us about the importance and the benefits of working on an truly integrated ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Johan, for having me. And thank you to the WeConnectU team. So in answer to your question, Johan, when we think about property management, it's quite easy to get caught up in the day-to-day tasks, and then we end up losing sight of the bigger picture. However, as business owners, it's essential to take a step back and consider the importance of having a comprehensive property management ecosystem in place. So a connected ecosystem is vital to the success of business operations, and I cannot emphasize this enough. Because unlocking efficiencies in property management, it's not only about saving time, but rather more about creating a foundation for scalability and ultimately long-term profitability and higher returns for us, in our case, our investors, and for others, their landlords. So for starters, let's talk about the benefits that come from streamlining processes. When we can automate and integrate our operations, we technically free up valuable resources that can be spent on growth and strategy, which is very, very important in today's competitive market. I'm sure you would agree. And if we just dive a bit deeper into what a connected ecosystem looks like, imagine having all those operations integrated seamlessly with no silos or disconnects, all the different functions of property management on one system. You can manage your leases, you can manage your maintenance operations, you can manage your accounting function and financials all in one place with real-time reporting and insights that can help you to make informed decision. And at this point, this is where the magic begins. This is where it happens. You can actually start to see significant improvements in efficiency and productivity. But what does it really mean for property managers? It's not just about having a bunch of separate tools and systems. It's about having a connected ecosystem that allows you to scale efficiently. Whether you're managing a few properties or you've got a very big portfolio on your side. It means you're able to focus on high value tasks like building relationships with your tenants, identifying new opportunities for growth. It also means that you're able to respond quickly to changing market conditions and you stay ahead of the competition. And it means being able to deliver exceptional service to your tenants. As you said, it is the service industry. And we're also driving profitability for our owners, the investors, and the business at large. So another critical aspect of a comprehensive property management ecosystem is their centralized data management. When you have all of your data in one place, you can produce real-time reporting, and then you're able to gain valuable insights into the property performance. How are your occupancy rates faring? What is your rental growth? Are you in line with the rental growth that you were projecting? What areas are performing well, etc., etc. This helps you identify areas for improvement. It helps you to be able to mitigate risks and to make data-driven decisions that ultimately drive growth and profitability. You know what they say, that the details are in the data. And then, of course, no discussion of property management would be complete without talking about risk mitigation. Within a connected ecosystem, you can identify potential risks like lease expirations and rent non-payment, and then you are in a position to be able to take proactive steps to address this. This then helps you to protect your assets and then to also ensure long-term profitability. And then finally, I really want to touch on the importance of compliance management. Navigating the world of compliance is no easy feat, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. I'm quite glad that the PPRA is a part of this event, because as property managers, we need to ensure that we are adhering to all the relevant regulatory requirements, and a comprehensive ecosystem can help us to do exactly that. By having a simplified compliance management system, we can then reduce the risk of non-compliance, and then we're able to focus on the things that really matter, which is, in our case as business owners, growing our businesses and delivering exceptional service to our tenants and our landlords. So as we consider the importance and the benefits of a comprehensive property management system, it's clear that the right tools and the solutions can make all the difference. I just want to encourage other business owners to think in this direction, because it's no longer just a nice to have, but it's a must have for sustainable growth and success in today's competitive market. And if we are leveraging technology and expertise, property managers can actually overcome common challenges and better position ourselves for long-term success. Yeah, and I'm just happy to say that this is where the solutions provided by WeconnectU, their rental asset management solution, and Red Rabbit come in. They have disrupted the economy and they've revolutionized the property industry by enabling managers to actually scale efficiently whilst at the same time maintaining high service standards and driving investor returns.
Loveness, thank you for that. I'm going to try to coin one line you said very early on in your comments, so hopefully I get it right, is it's not only about efficiency, but it's a foundation for scalability. I think that should be the line for ecosystem. So well done. Thank you for that feedback, and thank you for taking your time to share incredible value insights for someone that's doing the hard work on a daily basis.
Thank you, Johan.
Barry, you've got a tough job, man. You've got to close this 3.5-hour session, but I've been privileged to listen to you in many occasions, and there's not many speakers that can do it so well as you do. So my question to you is, you wrote an article last year that really resonated with me with regards to being a tech-enabled industry. And it wasn't about the tech, which I like the most. It was about the customer and the customer experience and how we can use tools like tech to focus on that, and also the focus on people. So you also quite a big supporter of the transition from the rental agent to the rental asset manager. Talk to us or to the audience and say to us, man, what do you see for us as an industry and the importance for us to make the shift and how we can use technology to achieve that?
Well, Johan, thanks. And to all the guests, I think I've learned a lot from all of them. And I think all of us have the customer in our minds right in the journey, and our agents as well. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We talk about AI, and I think what you guys are doing today is always inspiring. And that's why I think we can use AI today as a good example of what you're doing through this platform, where we can engage on critical industry topics that shape the future of real estate together. And having our regulator here, seeing how well we engage with one another. It's not that we compete, so we compete fiercely in the field, but at the end of the day, the goal is to really have an industry that we're all proud of. And real estate, as we all know, it is at its core a people business. And the relationships and service are the foundation of what we do. Without that foundation, what are we really? So what makes that difference? And I think in this fast moving world, being tech enabled is no longer an optional idea. It's essential. And I think we must use it to remove those obstacles that stand in our way of scaling and all the things that Loveness said. So the ability to integrate technology with our human expertise differentiates the market leaders from those who will struggle to keep up, I believe. And at Chas Ever International Property Group, we've always believed that technology should enhance, but never replace the personal relationships that we build with our customers and our agents and their customers. And the right tech tools like what we're talking about today, increase efficiency, improve the client experience, elevate professionalism as an industry in all aspects that we've heard about today, but they should never strip away the personal touch that defines our industry. The best agents today are those who embrace technology and provide real-time insights to landlords and the tenants that they work with. Streamlines our operations, it increases our lead generation right through to the lease management process, and it automates the administrative tasks, as Loveness said, so we can focus on really what's important, those high value customer interactions. The future of real estate belongs to those who master technology and relationships. It's a very fine blend. And those who fail to embrace this shift risk being left behind, not because they lack skill, but because clients expect faster, more transparent and more seamless service. And the clients are the ones that we actually choose us at the end of the day. One of the key challenges in the rental space is how the role of professionals in our industry are perceived and valued. And for long, the rental agent has been associated with simple leasing transactions, when in reality, the role should be evolving into something far more strategic. We heard from Marlon earlier, which is rental asset management. That's actually what we do. We manage investments, assets. So people don't just buy houses and keep them. There's a purpose. And the rental agent finds tenants and facilitates lease agreements. But a rental asset manager maximizes the long-term value of an investment for property. And that's why those people bought them. And that's why they sell them and change them. And the shift in this positioning and the way we've done it in our group is critical for our industry's long-term sustainability as professionals. Rental professionals who see themselves as asset managers do more than just place tenants. They help landlords optimize rental returns. They provide strategic advice on maintenance, risk management, long-term investment growth. They ensure compliance with ever-evolving legal and regulatory frameworks. We've heard about that all morning. By changing how we position our value to landlords, we move from being seen as a necessary cost to an indispensable investment. That fee they pay, they see as an indispensable investment. And Everitt, we actively drive this mind shift. In our teams with our clients, the goal to elevate the role of rental professionals so they are seen as true property advisors, not just intermediaries. And my final thought on this is real estate professionals, we're in the business of trust. Technology enables us, but relationships define us. And the rental industry must evolve from being seen as a transactional to being recognized as a professional advisory service. To the team at WeConnectU, you guys, Johanna and Skalk, and the people at Red Rabbit, thanks for helping us drive this evolution. Your work creating tech-rich, enabled solutions for property professionals like myself and my team is part of shaping our industry's future. And it's an active role that you play as a stakeholder. So keep on innovating, elevating our value. We'll do the same from our point of view. And we'll ensure that we remain at the forefront of trust, service, and expertise in real estate. That's my finish.
Barry, like I said, you never disappoint. Thank you for ending, I think, excellent day on a very high, and just the way you think and talk about the industry, it's always inspirational. Thank you for the feedback, and I know that you will also keep us accountable and honest as a technology partner to the industry, and we invite that. So thank you to you, to Loveness, Nicole, Megan, Marlon, and Thato, our unfortunate absence. Thank you for your time. Thank you for engaging with us. There we go. There's Thato. Thank you for engaging with us. And yeah, we look forward to do just that. Keep on engaging, learn from each other, challenge each other, and keep each other honest in what we're trying to shape or create as a future for the property management industry. With that, I'm going to hand over to Skalk. Skalk, you can say the last words, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. I want to ask all the panelists and speakers who joined today just to quickly come on stage. I think the audience deserve a clap. They've been here for almost three and a half hours to be exact. It is phenomenal to see this. And what it truly says, we are on one mission, and that is to shape a better future for all of us. And let's all never forget that our client is the one who obviously we service, and keep their needs at front of mind. So I want to give the audience a big hand. If you can join me, just give them a big clap. Thank you for joining us for 3.5 hours. I want to say thank you to the speakers who joined us. Thank you very much. You all are very, very busy. Thank you for just sharing insights, your wisdom, and just partnering with us on this journey. As Johan said, you're just partnering with us, you're keeping us accountable. We really value that. And then I want to just maybe also say thank you to the WeconnectU team. There was a lot of work that's been put into this. And I think just to acknowledge them as well, it doesn't happen by itself. Thank you to the WeconnectU team. I want to thank you as well on stage today. And then this is it. When you sign out, there's a 5-question survey. If you want to answer that, it will help us to better ourselves in the future, to improve the events. And let's go out, keep growing, and let's go and shape the future of our industry. Let's go and build the future. Thank you very much. Have a great week.